back to the Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I'm going to be spending a little bit of time, because let's face it, my attitude generally is a stranger is simply a friend I haven't met yet. I love meeting new people. It's one of the things I've always enjoyed doing, but not everybody has that. Some people really struggle with that, and I'm pretty aware of that. And recently, I came across Sheryl Nicholson, who's a professional speaker extraordinaire. And by the way, her website is Sheryl, Sheryl, Sheryl.com. What a great domain! I'm amazed she was able to land that. And she's going to talk to us a little bit on how to connect with strangers. But before that, Sheryl, tell us a little bit about yourself, about the topics you cover in your speaking, and what made you interested in this topic in particular, and welcome to our program.
Well, I think it's so important. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm so excited to be here for you and also your listeners. We're not in a world where we live by ourselves. You've got to connect to other people to advance your business and to advance your life. And I was just amazed. I'd go to networking events and watch people either stand in a corner and drink and eat off the buffet, or they'd walk in and go, "Hey, yo, Joe," and they'd go talk to the same person they saw last month at the meeting, and there wasn't really an opportunity for them to meet and network with new people. So it's always been an interest to me as a people watcher.
Yeah, and they walk out very adamant about the fact that networking meetings don't work for them.
Exactly.
Well, if you take that approach, I guess that's true. It's not going to work for you. That's not networking. So you call it whatever you want, but don't call it networking.
I absolutely agree. In fact, one of my favorite topics for chambers is, are you networking to poverty or profit? Because you've got to just like anything else, if you're building a house, you've got to have tools. Well, if you're building a business, you need to have tools.
No question about it. So, is this a big part of your work as a speaker? What kind of forums? Obviously chambers, which I love to talk at chambers as well. But what are some of the other forums that you're talking to, and what are the topics you're covering?
Well, Saturday I spoke for the Toastmasters Leadership Institute, and I did a program called Transformational Leadership, and talked about the 5 key issues on leadership. So, no, I've been doing this for so long, I'm known as a people productivity expert. So anything that has to do with advancing your life personally or professionally, not the nuts and bolts of business. I don't do projections or bookkeeping or financial analysis, but I take care of the people within your company so that they thrive.
Awesome, very cool. I notice you got some interesting clientele. Kind of give me an overview of the size range of your clients. I'm seeing some rather big names here at Sheryl.com, but what's on the low end? I see on the high end 3M, AT&T, AutoZones, and even the CIA. And of course, I could ask you what you do for the CIA, but then you'd have to kill me. So I'm not even going to ask that. But but what is on the small size, if you will, of the clientele that you work with?
Well, I worked with as many as 5 people that was building a radiology company, and those people needed to be able to connect and get along. They're building a business. I've worked with couples when it talks about communication, being able to communicate and really appreciate and respect each other. So size, in my case, size does not matter.
All right. So tell me about, where does someone begin? What do we do? What do we need to do to develop a different attitude and more of an openness towards meeting new people and take advantage of things like networking meetings and not be something you lament after you've done it?
Well, that is such a great question, and I think it all starts with the frame of mind of being excited about the opportunity. Here's what I tell people. I believe if you breathe air, you bring a gift to life's party. And some of us are wrapped so tightly we don't know how to unwrap. So when I walk into a room full of strangers, I want to find out, how do I unwrap that package and find something that I have in common? And if you have good tools, you can find something in common with anybody that crosses your path anywhere in the world. So it becomes exciting then.
Yeah, absolutely. So you look for familiarity, things that commonality, all those things that, let's face it, those are the things that cultivate into friendship in the end, correct?
Absolutely. It's, and people think we're so judgmental. we think we don't want people around us who don't think like us, aren't motivated with us, don't have the same political issues. It's so horrible watching the news these days about, are you right, left, conservative, whatever. We're people, and we should have one common goal and be able to negotiate with respect in all aspects of our life, not just in the business world.
Yeah, well, and the reality is that I've got a lot of friends who, in really the last couple of years, have accumulated a lot of friends whom I just fundamentally disagree with on the political front. And you know what? If that is the only thing we have in common is an interest in politics, we disagree, then we probably all look for different friends. The reality is still that there's a plethora of areas that we can focus on where we can be friends and have enough strength in those specific areas that we can have an occasional robust conversations in the areas we disagree without it being a strain on the relationship. You know what I mean?
I do know exactly what you mean, and I call it building your people puzzle. If you went to the store and you threw a puzzle out on the table, would the pieces look the same? No. So you have to be able to understand every person has value. So you may lay that piece on the table and say, I'm not going to do politics with this person, but I need that person to be connected to me so that we can work together on a committee to make a difference for the children in the neighborhood, for example. See the difference? So if you recognize that every piece has value, you can figure out how to work together on certain things. And I agree with you. There's some people, for example, I don't want to hang around with negative people. So I may work with them, but I'm not going to spend my spare time with them because I don't want to be in that kind of energy.
Oh, yeah, they're going to have to pay me money if they're going to be negative. I simply don't have time for that.
No, life is too short.
And they're going to have to pay me a lot. I've learned to get rid of clients that are negative. Their money isn't worth the devastation of listening to them.
Now that's smart. That's smart. And that comes from somebody like yourself that's very confident in who you are and what you do. It never pays off to take a bad client. Never. It's not worth the time, the effort, or the money. You don't need the money bad enough to take a bad client.
Shoot them before they're even a client. Don't wait for you to get yourself hooked on the money. Just get rid of them before they're even a client. Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
So what are some takeaways? What are some thoughts that you want the audience to take away with today?
Well, I think one of the things that you need to do when you go out and meet people is always be prepared. For example, I keep a list of maybe 4 questions in my head that I want answers to. For example, I bought a flash drive the other day, and for some reason, I was putting all my audios and videos on it, and next thing I know, I open it up, and it says, oh, you've backed up on this drive. I unplugged it, put it in my purse, and went to a meeting, and for the next month, my question was, how do you fix this issue? I got the answer very, very quickly. So if you go prepared with 4 different questions, you will meet the person you need to meet to get the answer to. So don't just rub shoulders, rub minds with people.
Very good. I want to encourage the listener to check out our guest website, Sheryl, Sheryl, Sheryl.com. By the way, what part of the country are you in, Sheryl?
What kind of country?
What part of the country are you in?
Oh, what part of the country? I'm in sunny Florida.
Sunny Florida. Well, thanks for being with us.
I enjoyed it.
You bet. All right. Make sure you check her out there, Sheryl.com. By the way, the best content on this program shows up over there at the national news website, usdailyreview.com. You'll be checking out this interview here in no time over there. I'm Kevin Price. You're listening to The Price of Business. More after this.
6 o'clock TV hour, don't get caught in foreign tower, slash and burn, return. Listen to yourself churn. Walking in uniform and book, burning blood, letting every motive escalate. Automotive centering.